Today on MTG Unpacked, it's finally time to check out the 2020 MTG Challenger decks. So people have been asking about these for quite a few months now, and they have finally arrived. So it's April 3rd, 2020 at the time of filming. These things go for about $25 to $30 US each. So the standard competitive decks. So this is the Cavalcade Charge deck, mono red aggro. So let's take off the wrapping here, we'll check it out. And these are based around the popular deck archetypes in the standard format. Okay, so we've got Chandra here. Here is the deck list on the side of the box. Contents: battle ready 60 card deck, 15 card sideboard, 5 double-sided tokens, and a deck box. Get huge benefits out of your tiny creatures, augmenting their damage with powerful permanents to create a never-ending stream of aggro pain. Alright, sounds good. This is probably my favorite of the 4 decks. So what have we got in here? Nothing else. Alright, set that aside. Here is the deck. I'm guessing this is the sideboard. We've got a divider here to keep them separated. Okay, what comes next? Yes, check out Friday Night Magic at your local game store when they are open. Unfortunately, the present world situation is preventing that. So you'll have to be satisfied with MTG Arena, or you can actually, people are going online and playing EDH and stuff with webcams and stuff, so that's another option. So let's check out the mana base here, see what we've got. Okay, so it looks like 18 mountains there, and we've got some tokens. What is this? A devil token. 1/1 devil. Okay, on the other side, satyr 1/1. Got another devil satyr. On an adventure. Okay, so double-sided, a 1/1 elemental satyr on the other side. I'm guessing we're going to be spinning those guys out. Alright, so there we go. And if you have missed the previous unboxings of the earlier years of the Challenger decks, I'll pop a link up in the corner there. You can check out the complete playlist. So these are usually a good step up for new players if you started with a Planeswalker deck. Those are pretty good for learning, but not so competitive at your local Friday Night Magic. Okay, so this is a mono red aggro deck. Let's see what we've got. So we start off here with a Bone Crusher Giant, creature giant, 4/3 for 3. With Stomp, 1 and a red, instant adventure damage. Can't be prevented this turn. Stomp deals 2 damage to any target. And so that's the adventure portion. The creature portion, whenever Bone Crusher Giant becomes a target of a spell, he deals 2 damage to that spell's controller. So really you can either play the creature or you can play the adventure first and then play the creature later. So depending on the game state. So that one was a rare. Fervent Champion, creature human knight, 1/1 for a single red with first strike and haste. Whenever it attacks another target attacking knight you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Equip abilities that you activate the target Fervent Champion costs 3 less to activate. So it makes things a little bit cheaper there. So you got, let's see, they're going to give you a playset. Yep, complete set of 4. That's a bit weird. They've got the Bone Crusher Giant there. So we get 4 of those dudes as well. Here's a fun card. Runaway Steamkin, creature elemental, 1/1 for 2. Whenever you cast a red spell, if Runaway Steamkin has fewer than 3 +1/+1 counters on it, put a +1/+1 counter on Runaway Steamkin. And if you remove 3 +1/+1 counters from it, you get to add 3 red mana there. So this guy you can bulk up and then cash in those counters for mana later on. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so we get 4 of those. Next up, Torbrand, Thane of Redfill, legendary creature, dwarf noble, 2/4 for 4. If a red source you control would deal damage to an opponent or permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage +2 instead. Okay, so as you may have guessed, red is all about doing a bunch of damage as fast as possible. So we get 4 of those. Next up we have a Planeswalker. I think this is the only one in this box. Chandra, Acolyte of Flame, legendary Planeswalker Chandra from M20 for loyalty for 3. Her 0 abilities, she's got 2. Put a loyalty counter on each red Planeswalker you control, or create 2 1/1 red elemental creature tokens. They gain haste second at the beginning of the next end step. That is pretty cool. Just keep pumping those guys out every turn, although they do disappear at the end of your turn. -2, you may cast target instant or sorcery card with convert mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard. If that card would be put into your graveyard this turn, exile it instead. Okay, so bringing stuff back from the graveyard, pretty cool. So 3 of those. Now this one is a mythic. This is Embercleave. Legendary artifact equipment for 6 with flash. Costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature you control. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. And here's the kicker. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has double strike and trample. Very cool. So the equip cost here is 3. Alright. Oh, so only 1 of those. I think that's one of the most expensive cards in the deck here. Castle Embereth. So here's some more mana for you. You get a land, enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a mountain. Tap it for a single red. For 1 and 2 red, tap creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. So again, pumping up the creatures briefly, getting more damage. So 3 of those. Rimrock Knight, creature Dwarf Knight, 3/1 for 2. So again, with the adventure here, Boulder Rush, single red, instant adventure, target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. The creature portion, Rimrock Knight can't block. Okay, so a low-end creature there. Complete playset, 4 of those. Next up we have Scorch Spitter, creature elemental lizard, 1/1 for a single red. So whenever it attacks, it deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. So getting in extra damage there, a lot of fun. So 4 of those. So you might have guessed red decks, pretty much low cost creatures, a lot of play sets, and that's pretty much the approach you take. Here is one of my favorite cards in the deck, Tin Street Dodger, creature Goblin Rogue, 1/1 for a single red. Yes, I am a huge Goblin fan, so happy to see this guy here. With haste, pay a red, he can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with Defender. So I really hope we get 4 of those. No, we only got 3, never mind. Next up, Cavalcade of Calamity, enchantment for 2. Whenever a creature you control with power 1 or less attacks, Cavalcade of Calamity deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker that creature is attacking. So again, a lot of extra damage going through. That really helps out a lot. You get 4 of those. Light up the stage. So this, I'm not sure if it's still over $1, but this is a pretty cool uncommon. Sorcery for 3 has Spectacle, single red. You may cast a spell for its Spectacle cost rather than its mana cost if an opponent lost life this turn. So a little cheaper to cast there. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. Okay, so we're probably going to get 4 of those. Okay, so that is the main deck. We'll take a look at the sideboard here. So this deck is actually pretty similar to one of the popular decks in the standard format right now. You probably want to swap out the Cavalcade of Calamity, chuck in a Anax Hide in the Forge. You might also want to add in a few more Embercleave. So I had a lot of fun playing this deck in MTG Arena. Actually recreated the whole thing there because they don't have codes for these, unfortunately. So let's see what we get in the sideboard. Experimental Frenzy. This is pretty crazy if the game's going a bit long. So it's an enchantment for 4. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may play the top card of your library. You can't play cards from your hand. So it can be a little dangerous. Obviously, you want to play it near the end of the game. For 3 in a red, destroy Experimental Frenzy. Okay, so we get 3 of those. Next up, Satyr's Cunning. Sorcery for a single red. Create a 1/1 red Satyr creature token with this creature can't block. And he has Escape, 2 in a red. So Escape is the mechanic from Theros Beyond Death. So you got to pay that cost, exile 2 other cards from your graveyard. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its escape cost. So 2, 3 of those. Okay, so Shock, the classic instant for a single red, deals 2 damage to any target. I actually missed this when I was playing it in Arena. I think, what was it, the Bone Crusher Giant. I found that he wasn't helping me that much, so I wanted to get a bit more damage in, so I added in Shock to the main deck. So we get 4 of those, of course. Slaying Fire, instant for 3, it deals 3 damage to any target, has Adamant, so if at least 3 red mana was spent to cast a spell, it deals 4 damage instead. Again, if you have, you're probably up against some big green creatures, you want to do some extra damage, so that one would be handy to have. Okay, I lied about the Planeswalker. We also have Tybalt, Rakish Instigator. Legendary Planeswalker Tybalt, 5 loyalty for 3. Your opponents can't gain life. Is -2, create a 1/1 red devil creature token with. When this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. Okay, 2 of those. Alright, so that is the sideboard. A few things to keep in mind. A lot of cards, so you check the set symbol here. These will be rotating out of Standard later this year. So anything Guilds of Ravnica, Ravnica Allegiance, M20. So, okay, Throneville Drain will still be there. Same with the Castle. Embercleave will be. Chandra gets left out of the picture. We've got Torbrand. Steamkin goes away. So you can see that later this year, later 2020, probably like 3/4 of the deck will rotate out of the format. So you're going to have to rebuild it. So you've got probably less than 6 months of useful playtime out of this. Okay, Tybalt is lost as well. Shock, they usually reprint that all the time, so I wouldn't worry about that. And Experimental Frenzy will go away. So yeah, your mileage may vary with these decks. We're actually going to take a look at the other decks in the Challenger deck series in the next day or so, so stay tuned for that. As for how you would play this, so like I said, maybe adding in Anax Hardened in the Forge, add in a few more Embercleave. You'd probably want to swap out Cavalcade of Calamity, and Robber of the Rich might be another good one to put in here, so that would get you closer to a tier deck. So there we have it. Let me know what you think of this one. Like I said, very good if you're a newer player wanting to get into competitive Standard, or if you are just wanting to get back into the Standard format, you can't go wrong here. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button for more Magic the Gathering unboxings, and be sure to tap notification bell to be notified as soon as new videos are released. Stay tuned, we've got the rest of the Challenger decks coming up. Hope everybody is staying healthy and safe. Thanks for watching and have a great day.